Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined here by Ribcage, my co-host,
Hello.
and we are kicking off a new series called FOS Reviews. We debated for a while on what to start this review series on, and seeing how the first video on our channel and pretty much every community update and every subscriber milestone celebration has been Verdun, we thought it would only be appropriate to start off with Verdun. The developers of Verdun are M2H and Black Mill Studios, which have produced two sequential games, Tannenberg and Isonzo. We'll get into those a little bit. Let's dive right into the content. Some of the key features of Verdun, obviously one of them being the immersive, gritty, horrendous picture of World War I that it paints. There's 9 maps with several different game modes. There is Frontlines, which sees players against each other, where you have a large map with 3 backup trenches you fight over. There's the Central and Entente powers. They strive to gain control over the different frontline sectors and pushing the opponent back to their final frontline trench. There's also attrition mode, where basically it's a free-for-all, where you're pitted up against all the other players on the map, and it's just absolute utter chaos. There is cooperative squad defense, which honestly is one of my favorite game modes. Squad defense is where you and 3 other players can pick your map and you start at your jump off trench, and you are facing innumerable amounts of waves of bots that just come at you. Every few waves they increase in ferocity, size, and what they deploy with them. Some of them have creeping artillery barrage, some of them have gas, some of them have smoke, but as you go you continually get harder and harder and harder, and it just gets increasingly difficult. You get to resupply your squad once every turn, and the highest scoring person receives some sort of a bonus, whether it be artillery or something of that nature.
Some of the things that I think really shine through in Verdun are the variety of units and classes. Each squad has 4 roles, of course, one being a squad leader, and then 3 varying between each squad. They're broken up into a couple of different types. You have your rifle squads, scout squads, assault, sentry, and engineer. The last 2 being added in with the free DLC updates that have been added in the past, and every single one has different things that you can do and different weapons that you can unlock. Every single role that is in the squad has 3 different loadouts that you can spend points that you just gain by playing the game in order to unlock, and each one has something different about it. What a starting rifleman could be is simply a rifleman with his rifle and nothing more than that, and then the ending could be him having a rifle with an early mounted scope, so that way you can pick off enemies from a distance. Personally, some of my favorite squads in the game are the Doughboys, the Marines, and the Canadians. Honorable mention to the Highlanders, because they do have kilts in the game as well, which is very true to life. One of the other things that I really love about Verdun is that in the past there have been seasonal events during the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. There was an event that was just talking about the anniversary of it, and really just paying homage to everything, considering that the game is about this awful thing that happened in history. There was a game mode in particular where if everyone stopped firing at each other on the map for a period of time, you would all get achievement. And it was a limited time thing as well, which I think is extremely cool. On top of that, one of the things that I love is that I feel like you can hop on Verdun and also Tannenberg as well, because they run on the same engine. And they behave very similarly, although Tannenberg takes a few things in a different direction, but that's for another video. The other night I was playing Verdun at around 3 o'clock in the morning on West Coast servers, and you wouldn't imagine that very many people would be on or awake at that hour, which was true. There was only about 3 people in the match that I was playing in, but it was as lively as ever. And that's because if there aren't a whole lot of people in a server when you are playing in it, it will be populated by AI. AI are actually pretty competent, so you're still able to plink away at targets and have fun no matter what time of the day. I think that more games should do that.
That's one thing that I really like about the game as well, is that if you are, you know, like Ribcage said it, no matter what time of the day that you're on, you can hop in and there's going to be a full server. And the best part about it is it's honestly kind of hard to tell bots from players unless you look at the name tag of who you're hitting or who you're picking off, because they're very competent, they're very aggressive, and unless they are the defending team, they can be extremely tactful. They'll be using the low parts of no man's land, using talking guns to move up and things like that. They're a very, very good AI. It's not like some I don't know. I don't really want to diss on any other games or anything, but they're a good AI. And speaking of the AI and other things that we like, going back to what Rib was saying with the weapons and whatnot, the thing that is really cool, in my opinion, about it is it's not just like Battlefield. Again, I don't want to shit on another series, but these weapons are accurate. They have accurate magazine capacities and accurate feeling reload time. Some of them feel clumsy, some of them feel clunky, some of them are just really good. And with period accurate and well-represented weaponry, they add realistic bullet physics and skill-based weapon handling. Then, on top of that, you get the full World War I experience with chlorine gas, phosgene gas, and I believe bromide is the other mixture. And then you put on this gas mask, no matter what unit you play as, it feels so claustrophobic, and it just feels... I don't even know how to describe it. How would you describe how the combat feels different when you mask up?
I would say that it goes from an action game into a horror game in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is as you're sitting there, you're masking up, right? You'll hear somebody blow, like an AI blows a whistle, and he'll say, like, this is an example from the Tommies. They'll say, gas, 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 and then you'll start seeing your AI and everybody else putting on their masks, right? But you'll also start hearing people choking to death, coughing and regurgitating, and it's horrifying.
Mm-hmm. The sound design and the voice acting for this game really shines through. Like, the voice actors that they picked out, very good for their roles, very talented. The direction that was given by the developers was very clear. Like, for real, good job to all of the voice actors that worked on Verdun, because it really feels awful when you get shot and then you're watching your body twitch and squirm and choke on his own blood, because it sounds real.
That's another thing, yeah. When you get hit, like you hear it, and then your camera zooms out to third person, and there have been numerous times where between the lot of us here at Fighters of Saharani, we call the game World War I PTSD Simulator. And one of the memories that sticks out in my mind about Verdun is we were playing Frontlines, and there was a decent amount of people on, and it was a full squad of FOS guys, and we were rushing the right side of Picardy, and we were just having a heck of a time getting into the trench. So I advise that we all lob grenades, and as soon as they start going off, we run in. And we didn't time it out, so we just kind of lobbed grenades haphazardly, rather than all at once at different sections. And then we heard three go off. I figured, the fourth one, whatever. It, they probably didn't have a grenade, so I ordered a rush, and we all rushed in. I remember being right behind Ribcage and a former member Artorias, and a grenade went off, and Ribcage's legs flew by me. And I just kind of stopped for a second, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a leg to stand on.
the Speaking of the realism, one of the other really brutal things is the trench combat. When you get into close quarters, it's very slow. Um, you're pieing your corners. You're making sure that as you break down that attackable sector, that you have multiple guns online to start putting fire on the enemy as you find them. Sometimes you'll turn the corner of a trench and bam, there's three dudes there. So you have time to fire one round, but you don't have time to rack the bolt. So you just start stabbing, and that's also very rewarding. Is you get, I think, a little bit more points for the melee kills, and there's a lot of different melee weapons. There's clubs, there's shovels, for God's sake, and there's knives and bayonets. One of my favorites is seeing the knife that had steel knuckles or brass knuckles on it. That's some real World War I shit right there.
A few gripes that I do have with the game, and most of these are past issues, is that in the past there have been issues with optimization. Obviously, Verdun has come a very long way. For those of you who are not aware, Verdun actually started as a browser game, and at the time I was very lucky as to play it when it was in its browser state, and boy howdy, it functioned at maybe as many frames a second as you have fingers on your hand. That being said, it still worked, but as soon as it got onto Steam and greenlit into early access, things got better from there. Upon full release, there was one map in particular that was still having problems by the name of Champagne, being the only map that goes on at night, and the way that it was made being dark is that, oh, we're going to have a lot of fires burning to illuminate the battlefield so that way people can see better in dark corners of trenches, and you don't have to rely solely on the moonlight. And that ended up tanking frame rate a lot. Although, in recent year, because that was maybe 2019, 2018, when they were still ironing out that issue. Now, at the time of making this in 2022, there is no longer an issue with that. My other gripe that I have had in the game in the past is, as I said before, with seasonal events, with the anniversary that was going on for World War One. You may remember that I said that the whole server needed to stop firing at each other. No one could die in order for everyone to get the achievement. That doesn't count if there are bots in the server. So unless you have a full server, then people will still be firing, and you think, oh, well, someone's not going to participate in the achievement, so I'm going to go and kill them. But then you kill a bot, and then it ruins it for everyone else.
Back when the game first came out, in 2015 and 2016, those 2 years, Rib and I put a lot of hours into this game. We played it a lot. Like, it became a favorite. And we, as the game progressed, we experienced the new factions, the new weapons, things like that. But there wasn't really any optimization for quite some time. But then all of a sudden, I believe it was 2017 and 2018, they went through and optimized the maps and optimized functionality. And now, with every update that they produce, there's bug fixes, all of that good stuff that you would expect with a game update. Plus, they go through and make sure before they publish the update that it's optimized as best to their ability. And if it's not, they'll come back later and re-optimize those things as things continue on. And so overall, I gotta say, and it really speaks for the game itself, that in 2015, NDDB Editor's Choice Best Multiplayer Game of 2015, Best Economic Achievement Award 2015, Control Industry Award 2015, MWTV Award Best Dutch Game 2015, number 5 top upcoming indie games of 2014. Those awards all were earned before it really got popular, and seeing the popularity explode with every Steam sale has been really rewarding, and watching the devs take into account what the players are saying, what we as customers want, and continuing to produce great games. As I said before, there's Tannenberg, which is the Eastern Front, and now Isonzo, which is the Italian Front, and I'd really love to see a Pacific Front with the Japanese and everything. But anyways, that's another video. But I would probably give this an 8 out of 10 artillery barrages.
I would give this a solid 8 gas masks out of 10.
In conclusion, the game has on Steam 59 achievements that you can earn as you play, and again, some of those are dependent on different events and whatnot, which is really cool. I think, with the Christmas truce, around Christmas, a lot of the servers will have that. Everybody stops shooting, you go out and you kick the soccer ball around and you'll get the achievement. There's also trading cards and things that you can use to spice up your profile, like stickers, chat emotes, as well as Steam profile backgrounds, and badges and things like that.
If you're looking for a good World War I game that is true to life, as close as we can get it to 100 years later, I would absolutely, without a doubt, recommend Verdun, Tannenberg, and, well, I haven't played Isonzo, but I have no doubt in my mind that it is up to the same quality as Verdun.
Yeah, absolutely worth buying. Whether it's on sale or not, I would definitely recommend picking up this game as well. It is, again, one of the best World War I games out there. In my honest opinion, I feel like this is the best representation that we get. Yeah, buy Verdun, people. We are your hosts, Strelic and Ribcage, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
How did I do team damage with my control?